Okay, Greg, if someone told you 35 years ago that you would be playing concerts on cruise ships, what would your reaction be?
I would probably be quite depressed. You think about people playing on cruise ships, you thought about them playing like, I don't know, Neil Diamond covers in a cover band or something like that, the same covers every night. So yeah, that would have been, but these things didn't exist then, the metal cruises and all the rest of it. So, I mean, it's actually quite good. I used to not like these kind of things, but every time I do it, I kind of like it a little bit better, because I was just talking to a couple of people yesterday who were from Tunisia on board this ship, and they were saying that you wouldn't get this kind of relaxedness with any other scene, and it's true. It's kind of like everyone's respectful, everyone's polite. I think it's unique to this music scene that everyone just kind of gets along really well. So it makes it much easier to do.
But you have to admit, it's a kind of Las Vegas kind of situation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If I had a choice, if it was me, well, I mean, I have a choice not to do it, but I mean, if, it's not something that I would search out to do. It's because I'm not good with crowds anyway. I don't particularly like socializing. And on these things, it's kind of 24/7 socializing, and I don't drink either. So it's like, I just kind of wander around aimlessly on my own, looking forward to when I dock, I guess,
Okay. And what's the other biggest surprise about playing sad music for so long?
That it doesn't make me sad. It makes me happy. Playing sad music makes me very happy. Listening to sad music makes me very happy. I don't think I've ever liked a happy song, or not in the traditional sense. I like sad music. Always have done. Doesn't matter the genre. Even it just has to be kind of sad, kind of tragic. Because I find it far more emotive. I think there's a lot more to write about. You can feel it deeper, and it's just the style of music that I like. When I listen to it, sad music or create it, it makes me feel warm and happy. So it's I think it's just a taste thing, maybe.
We're circling around the issue of time, but not without reason, because I think, without a hint of irony, that you're a one-of-a-kind band. Nearly 40 years on the scene, 17 albums behind your belts, and you're still going strong. So what's the recipe for doing this?
I mean, it has its high points and low points, and it has, it's had ups and downs over the years. Sometimes you're kind of popular within the scene. Sometimes you're not. Sometimes the scene's not popular. Sometimes it is, But I think it's just doing our own thing. We've kind of always been a little bit outsiders. Even when we started out, even when we were in like the UK punk and, death metal grindcore scene, whatever it was in the 80s, even when we were part of that, we were still the outsider, because everyone was playing as fast as they could and we were playing as slow as we could, to be kind of obstinate, and I think as time's gone on, we've stayed like that. American bands always say Paradise Lost isn't that band that stands around in a circle, not socializing at festivals, and that kind of sums us up, really. I think we have a very similar sense of humor to each other as well, which really helps. We have our own little thing. We sit there and we just laugh at everything. Everything's with a kind of tongue-in-cheek thing, I don't think we take things too seriously. We take the music seriously, but everything around it is kind of Spinal Tap,
So can we suggest this advice to Dave Mustaine?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's been in the business a lot longer than I have. So, I say a lot longer, maybe about 10 years.
Like 5-6 years more, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Each to their own. I mean, he deals with it how he deals with it. On the surface of it, it looks like he takes everything a bit seriously, but that might be not true. It might just be how it's portrayed. I don't know. The guy, I've met him a couple of times. He seemed really nice. So, you can only speak how you when you meet someone, you can only speak how they interact with you. There's a lot of people in this business that I've met that have bad reputations, and they've been okay with me. So, and vice versa. You have people who are supposed to be really friendly and happy and outgoing, and you meet them and they're kind of assholes, So, so it can go both ways. I mean, it's how people are portrayed in the press or online or on social media is not necessarily how they are in real life,
Yeah, that's true. Jokes aside, you must be incredibly determined or lucky to be able to and to enjoy working together after all these years. And that's probably only way to stay in the saddle and being relevant for such a long time. You've mentioned about common sense of humor, dark humor, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. It's I think it's a bit of both. It's a bit of luck and a bit of determination. I mean, because you have to accept that a certain amount of it is right place, right time. Same when we started out. We did a demo that was well received, but there were lots of other good demos that year. It's so yeah. There's a certain amount of luck, but it's not a life for everyone. So there is a lot of determination involved. You have to really believe in what you're doing. You have to enjoy what you're doing. I mean, to me, it's still like the hobby it was when I was 17. It's like I get a kick out of writing songs and making sounds. And, I didn't used to like traveling around the world, but I actually like it now. I used to hate it, and now I quite like it.
And aside from the dramas, you've been playing with the same lineup since 1988. So what's the whole drummer's curse think about? And do you think Jeff will be the last one?
Oh God, how do you know these things? Yeah, I mean, with the drummer thing, I think if our original drummer, Matt Tuds Archer, if he could have got to the level that we were getting to musically, he'd probably still be in the band and it'd be the same five guys, but he just couldn't at the time. He was, and it was really sad situation when he left the band. And we're still very good friends. So, yeah, once he left, then it just became a situation where, you got a drummer and you think they're going to be the forever one, and something happens, Each drummer is left for different reasons. I mean, some good, some bad. But I think the majority of drummers that we've had have left the band for very honest reasons. Like Jeff, for instance, when he left the band years ago, it was because when he joined the band, he had no children, he wasn't married. Then he got married and had 3 kids. And touring, you can't, sometimes people can't handle it, and it's fair enough. It's a good reason to end touring, if you've got a family to look after. And like Adrian Erlandson, he left the band because At the Gates started working again, and that was his original band. And absolutely, he should go and chase that. At the Gates was his thing, so he should do that. So, yeah, I'd say drummers are kind of weird. They're more transient than other musicians, I think. They can move from one thing to the next more than a guitarist or a vocalist. They kind of move around a lot, and I think they find it easier to do that as well. But yeah, I mean, most drummers that we've ever had, we're still very friendly with. There's only a couple where it ended weirdly, but you can't always get on with everyone, can you?
Yeah. Speaking about Ascension, your last album, is it clear to me that you're no longer focused on musical revolutions, but simply want to deliver the highest possible quality of Paradise Lost trademark sound? But would you be okay with it if this turned out to be your last farewell album?
Yeah, I've always been okay with it. So some people don't like some of our albums, some people like some of our albums, some I guess are better than others, but each album that we've ever done, I've always tried to make it the best that I could do at the time, and so that if anything should happen, if you split up, if you die, whatever happens, you can go out on a proud note. You can say, oh, well, that was the best I could have done at that moment in time. And I think that's true of any album we did, no matter what you think of it. We were doing the best that we could at that time. Whether it's good enough for some is another story, you know. So yeah, I mean, Ascension to me is the best that we can do at this time, and using the influences that we want to portray at this time. It's a little bit of a nostalgic record, you know. It's which came about because we did the re-recording of Icon album, which kind of, you know, we weren't influenced by Icon on Ascension, but we were influenced by the time frame. You know, it kind of made us very nostalgic for the early 90s, you know, and what we were listening to back then, and how we approached songwriting and how we felt. So Ascension's a bit of that kind of record to me, I think, you know. And your perspective changes every couple of years, you know. So what we think and feel about music and what we want to create in 2, 3, 4 years' time might be totally different again. We might want to do something very different. I don't know. You can never say, can you? I'm always open to experimentation, because I think if you just continually repeat, and there's kind of not a lot of point to it, it becomes, you may as well work in a factory, you know, recreating the same thing over and over again. I think it just gets boring for you, and if it's boring for you, then people aren't going to want to hear it, are they? So
Yeah, I can see your point. And almost every Paradise Lost album introduces a song or two to the set list for, you know, quite longer time. And which song from Ascension do you think has the potential to stay with us, with you, forever?
forever, that's a tough one. Forever. The one that excites us most to play live, I think, because it's a great opening track, is Serpent on the Cross, because it's almost got like 2 intros to it. So if it makes sense. So we have the big, like, grandiose, flamboyant, slow opening, and then it goes into almost another song, you know. So it's kind of interesting to play live and exciting to play live. Whether or not that'll be in the set forever, I don't know, but it just works. It just flows really well. So yeah, at this moment in time, I'll probably say Serpent on the Cross, but again, you know, 2 years' time, your opinions change, you know.
Hmm. I really love Silence Like the Grave, for example.
Yeah, we kind of tried to finish on that track because it's a good closer. It's a good set closer, you know. It kind of wraps everything up well, and so yeah. I mean, those were the first 2 that we thought straight away we've got to play those 2 live, you know.
Last year marked a decade since the release of the Plague Within album, and did that album feel like a new beginning for you, something that put your career back on track?
It did when it came out. When we were recording it, not so much. When we were recording it, it was the first time working with Gomez, Jamie Arellano. So it was a new producer at the time. We'd made a decision to do something a little bit more pushing the boundaries. I think it was the first time the gruff vocals came back since the early 90s, you know. So there was a few changes there. So we knew it was going to be a little bit different, but when it came out, we realized that it was definitely a new benchmark for our career, like something to live up to again, you know. Especially songs like, I mean, for me, what really makes that album stand out is the slow song. What is it? The really slow song. I mean, it's the slowest song we ever did. Oh fuck, I'm terrible with titles. I forget anyway. It's Beneath Broken Earth. That's it, Beneath Broken Earth. That song is the standout to me. I mean, I like the album. I think it's a really strong album. But that song was written last minute. We were in the studio and the label said, you haven't got enough songs, you need another song. And I was like, oh, shit. Well, I did have this riff, this doom riff. Maybe we can turn that into a song. So I wrote it in about, I don't know, an hour and a half in the studio, and we recorded it, and it came out to be one of my favourite songs, you know, because I love a good doom song. I mean, that's my passion, really, the slow stuff. And and it's kind of, I think it's our most viewed video as well, even though it's just us looking miserable in a room playing the slowest song we've ever played, you know, but you know, there's no accounting for taste. So yeah, I think that album set a new benchmark, something for us to live up to, you know, and try to surpass. Whether we did or not, I don't know, but you know.
Gothic icon, 1 second. Each of these albums defined a new era for Paradise Lost. And which of your later releases is equally important to you as these mentioned ones?
Well, you just mentioned Plague Within. I think Plague Within is another kind of turning point that made us go down the last few albums that we've done. You know, in fact, that song Beneath Broken Earth especially made us do the album afterwards. I think you can always hear it with every record that we've ever done, ever. There's always one song on it, each record, that gives you a clue as to what the next record will be like. You know, so, and we don't know it at the time. We just do a song that's maybe slightly different from the rest of the record. And then when we release it, we think, oh, wow, we really like that song. So we're going to do an album like that, you know. So then we do an album like that. So we did Medusa. It's usually one song that makes us choose which direction to go in for the next record. So yeah, I'd say Plague Within was the one that turned a corner in the same way that Icon did, you know.
Mm.
For us personally.
You know, on the contrary, on the radio music, when fans rating the music, the most disliked album is Believe in Nothing. But
Yeah.
on the other hand, there is a song there which is called, I guess, Worth Pretending.
Yeah, love it. I love that
Such
song.
powerful, doomy stuff. A really great track, and it's a fine example of what you're saying, that there's always this doom and gloom vibe in Paradise Lost trademark sound.
Yeah, it's because it really is my passion. I mean, doom, trouble. I was obsessed with trouble when I was younger. You know, in the 80s, all that stuff. It's still kind of. It's what ticks all my boxes. So I always try and get a really, really doomy song on every record if possible, no matter what the record is like. If I did a full record of songs like that, I think it'd just be boring, you know, because it's like heavy music. You know, if you do an album that's ultra heavy all the way through, none of it's really heavy because there's nothing to judge it by.
Mm.
You know, you need light and shade. You need something to offset it, to make you realize the depth of this doom song. It has to have other things surrounding it that aren't like that. But yeah, I always try and squeeze at least one song on a record that is a passion thing for me. You know, like it's an ultra slow thing.
Unfortunately, I'm old enough to remember your show at Warsaw Stodola Club, when you were promoting the album 1 second, playing it almost in its entirety. I guess 7 or 8 songs of that album you played that night. And would you be willing to take on the challenge of playing a series of shows celebrating the 1 second's 30th anniversary next year?
I wouldn't be totally against it. I used to really dislike the idea of doing things like that, and I've genuinely fought against doing things like that. You know, we did it with Icon and we did it with Draconian Times. You know, just a few shows, not like a full tour or anything, just a few shows. And I really didn't want to do it because I saw it as like it turns you into a legacy act, you know. But when I did those few shows and talking to the people who came to the shows, you know, fans of those records, it made me realize that it's not, doing something like that is not about me. It's not about what I want. It's about, you know, some people that came to like the Icon shows or the Draconian Time shows, they maybe hadn't been to one of our shows since that album was released. And there was, and by conversely, there was kids at the shows, younger people who weren't even born when those albums came out and wanted to see what it was like live. So I understand it now. It took me a while to get it. I didn't understand it. So yeah, 1 second, I would not be against doing a few shows. I mean, like I said, I don't like the idea of doing a full tour because it makes the event less special. You know, if you do 20, 30, it's like, so what? You can see it tomorrow, you can see it next week, you know. If it's like 5 or 6 shows in different parts of the world, in different cities, it makes it a special event. And now I get it. I can understand that it's a great thing for people who are just fans of that record, maybe. Maybe they're not even fans of the band. Maybe they just like that one record, you know. Why not? Yeah.
I hope you wouldn't be offended, Greg, about what I'm saying right now. But I think that you are a legacy band, which means that you have a lucky enough to have this legacy behind your backs, and such a great back catalog that you could be proud of, I guess. This is quite different perspective, and it's nothing wrong with being a legacy band, I guess.
You're absolutely right. And it's another thing that I've learned over the last few years, you know, maybe 5 years, that legacy is not a dirty word. You know, I used to think that, oh no, legacy, it means we just basically become this cruise ship band, you know, as we started the interview, you know. But it's not that. It's, you were fortunate enough to have a body of work that transcends sometimes genres, but definitely time, you know, decades of different albums. And yeah, it's something to be proud of. You're right. It's not something to hide away from. I did hide away from it for a long time. I did always think it's all about the next record. It's all about the next record, which it is. You're only as good as your next record, your last record. That is true in the eyes of the scene. But you should always be proud of your achievements. And yeah, for a long time, I've kind of not ignored them, but tried to distance myself from that, you know.
They are the words of wisdom.
At least you live and learn. You live and learn. You know. If I could tell my things when I was younger, you know, there are certain things that you'd tell them. You'd say relax. You'd say enjoy it in the moment. Don't think too hard. Don't think about tomorrow. You know, all these things are learning things that you can't teach anyone when they're younger. You have to live it. You know.
Yeah, that's true. You're going to play 3 shows in Poland in the February. One of them, Warsaw show, is basically sold out. Other 2, the tickets are running fast. So it's quite fascinating that you're still such a big band in Poland.
I don't know if it's big. It's nice to have. I mean, we're very lucky that people still want to see us. That's how I feel about it, you know.
Okay, so thank you very much for this conversation. Keep my finger crossed about your cruising and returning to Poland in a very few weeks.
Yeah, not so long now. Yeah, looking forward to it. We were just discussing at breakfast the set list for it because we're doing some dates on the tour, a similar or same set list to the first part of the European tour because it's the same tour. You know, we want to play the songs that we'd be playing, but some gigs we're on about changing up the set a little bit because we've got a lot of stuff rehearsed. So we're trying to keep it fresh for ourselves, you know. So yeah, I look forward to doing it anyway. And yeah, maybe see you there.
Thank you. Keep my finger crossed. Take care.
Okay. All right. Cheers, Lucas. Bye-bye.